These things look really cool, eh? Oh, we haven't got the limiter there. Oh yeah, there we go. Now we're moving. What's up guys, Hobo88 here and welcome back to the channel for something really cool this week. This time we're going to be checking out the brand new game World of Outlaws Dirt Racing 24 by the team at iRacing as part of the guys behind this build. And we have done a video on the last game that these guys released a couple of years ago, but this is the newest edition out this week and I'm going to check it out in this video for you guys. We're going to go through and take a quick look at all the different cars in this video and we'll take them all out for a bit of a spin. We'll see how that goes. I'm looking forward to this, guys. I hope you are too. If you want to see more videos of this game here on the channel, please make sure that you let me know in the comments below and by liking the video. That's how I'll know. But to kick things off, I guess we'll quickly just touch base on the game itself before we go in and check any of the cars, the different modes and things like that. We've got a career mode, which is really cool. I'd love to do a career mode playthrough here on the channel. I am doing the World of Outlaws 2002 game career playthrough at the moment as well here on the channel. So be cool to get those two going simultaneously. If you want to see that, let me know. Quick race, Outlaw Challenge. So this is like a scenarios type mode as far as I can tell. I haven't done anything with it, but it seems like that's what it is, a bunch of scenarios that you can play out, and I'm keen to check that out at some point. Not in this video today though. We've got online racing, which I don't know if the online will be any good in this, but we might check that out at some point. Options, split screen. We've got championships, we've got my driver, my cars, medals, and the news feed. So a really cool, well fleshed out group of different modes and things here to check out. Obviously the career is appealing, but today we're just going to go and check out the quick race. We're going to work our way through the cars. Before we go any further here, I will just quickly point out that this is not a first impressions video for me. I recorded a first impressions video earlier today, and guess what? I recorded corrupted. So I have already been through and checked out all these cars and done a video on this, but you guys will never see it. It's lost to the realms of time. But either way, we're going to go through again here and check them all out. I have set all this stuff up with a steering wheel. I've used my entire sim setup before today just to make sure it all worked. I've got Van and pedals, SimMagic Alpha wheel, Thrustmaster shifter, and even my sequential shifter, Ferris shifters one, and it all worked and mapped perfectly fine. The only thing is that this just doesn't feel like a game I want to play on a wheel. Did a couple of laps and felt like it was just too arcadey. I mean, I'm so used to sim racing that the physics just didn't feel right for me on a wheel, and I've diverted back to the gamepad for this particular video. So we're on a gamepad today, and we're going to check it all out. So as you can see, I'm blocking a little bit of it with my big head here, but we have got a whole bunch of cars, and we'll call them divisions or series in here that we can go and work through. We've got a 410 sprint car series, the NOS Energy Drink World of Outlaws series, World of Outlaws late model series, the Super Dirt Car series and the Big Block Modifieds, Extreme Outlaw Midget series, the Micro Sprint series, the ASCS 410 wingless sprint car series, American Sprint Car Series, the ASCS 360s, the Dirt Car Summit Racing Equipment Modified Nationals, so that's UMP Modifieds, Dirt Car Pro Late Models, the Dirt Car Street Stock Series, and the 305 Dirt Car Series. So I think what we will do here is just work our way from right to left. So I guess that's the way the progression works, from the biggest, most prestigious championships over on the far left-hand side of screen and the entry-level stuff over on the far right. We might check out the 305 sprints, but we'll probably skip the 360s when we get to those and just skip over that. We don't need to do 305s, 360s, and 410s in this video. But we'll go through here, we'll load each of these cars into a different track, do a few laps of practice, and then scoot on to the next thing. We don't want this video to go for too long. I'm hoping an hour, maybe even a little bit less. So let's get stuck into it, guys. Let's check it out. And first things first, 305 sprint cars. We're going to take a quick look here. You can see there are a whole bunch of drivers. We've got our own driver. We can choose our own driver. I'm assuming we can go in and build ourselves a template for our car paints and all that sort of stuff, which I haven't done any of yet. I'm keen to check all that out, but we'll just quickly blaze through all of the different drivers that you can pick from. Fred Arnold, which is a little bit cut off for you guys on screen. Garrett Bard, Andrew Boyer, Ian Detweiler. I'm not going to read all these out. I'll just scroll through them for you guys to check out on screen. And then we'll just pick the first one and go and check it out on track, just so you guys can see what it's all about. There is, I will say, an enormous amount of cars to start with, but an enormous amount of drivers as well. There's a really good roster here, which I think is really, really cool. I love how many cars and drivers they have in the game here for you guys to pick from. I think it's awesome, and that's back to the start there. So we'll just go with Fred Arnold's car. Number 88. What a start, guys. That's the way to start. We might pick a big track, but before we do that, we'll just quickly go through and show you all of the tracks that you can pick from before we go and start choosing them. So first things first, we've got Bristol. They are in alphabetical order, but there is a heap of official real-life tracks in the game as well, which I think is exciting. Bristol, Cedar Lake, Charlotte, Chili Bowl, Eldora, Fairbury, I-55, Kern Raceway, Knoxville, Kokomo, Las Vegas, Lernerville, Limaland, Lincoln, Lucas Oil, Millbridge, Oswego, Port Royal, Texas, Volusia, Weedsport, Williams Grove, and that's the list of official tracks from the real life that we've got here in the game. Most of you who are familiar with iRacing will know that most of these tracks exist over on iRacing, which is why the licensing works here for these guys to use it. Yeah, but that's a lot of tracks. That's really, really cool. And then there's all these fantasy tracks, we'll call them. A lot of these have come over from the previous title that these guys made. I didn't play enough of that game to really remember a lot of these tracks, but I think a few of them look familiar to me, and they've reappeared here. And they'd be good tracks to race on as well. I'm sure that if we get stuck into a career mode or something like that, we will probably get the opportunity to check some of these out and see what they're all about. But I'm not going to go through any of them today. Today's video, we're much more interested in just going through some of the official tracks. So I think we'll pick a big track here to start with. We'll go for maybe a half mile. So we'll go to, I don't know if I want to do Eldora, but we might do, let's do Knoxville actually in the 305s. We'll go check it out. Obviously low powered car compared to the 410, but maybe they'll go okay here. Big track for these sort of cars, not a lot of power, but we'll see how they go. Fingers crossed. The sounds are all okay. Fingers crossed just the recording in general is okay here, guys, seriously. So we've gone into quick race, and that loads us into basically a race weekend. You can see we've got the practice session at the moment on track. 59 minutes remaining, so we're just going to jump in here, do some practice laps, and then jump back out. We're not going to do a race or anything like that in this video. We can do that in another one though, for sure. I will quickly go in and show you guys the setup options, and bear with me because we've got Xbox controls and mapping on screen, but I'm using a PlayStation controller, so if I get some of these buttons wrong, don't shoot me. By default, you get to choose just between an automatic sort of setting, a recommended setup. You can go between loose and tight, and it'll make all the adjustments for you. Same as in the previous title. There's also a custom race and custom qualifying setup. We'll go in here and show you the different setup options on a sprint car. They are everything you would expect to see: torsion bars, shock adjustments, tyre pressures. You got some wheel spacing, a bit of weight adjustment, wing angles, gear ratios, tyre compounds. You can also adjust your steering lock and offsets and things like that. Staggers, all the standard stuff you'd expect from a sprint car. And at some point we might spend some time looking through all this and adjusting it, but for the sake of today, I'm certainly not going to do that. I'm just going to go ahead and hit the track on the default setups and see how we go. Before we head out on track, we've got the different camera options, so let's see if I can get the controls right here. The default is the cockpit. We've got that bumper or front of the wing cam for the sprint cars. Our first chase view, second chase view, the hood, up on the hood view, and then back to the cockpit. So far in the laps that I've done, in my experience, I either prefer to race in the cockpit or in the second chase view, depending on the car. I'll try and do the chase view for you guys. I think it's a better demonstration of what the game's about. Because don't forget, this is absolutely an arcade game at the end of the day. This isn't a sim by any means, and it shouldn't really be compared as one. I know that one of the questions I'm going to see in my comment section is, how does it compare to iRacing? Well, I mean, it doesn't, because they're not even a similar type of game, really. Even though iRacing are involved in the back end in building this game, it's definitely not iRacing. It is definitely an arcade experience and needs to be treated as such. Certainly a fun game to jump on the couch and play, that sort of thing, but not a simulator. Definitely not. So the big half mile in a 305, we're just flat out. And I have to admit, I didn't spend a lot of time playing the last title. I didn't really like the handling in the last title that much. So far my experience here is that I think that it's a little bit better on this game. And some of the same characteristics still creep in, as we're going to grab a tear off there as the screen is very, very dusty. In the high-powered cars particularly, you get wheel spin on the long straights and the car turns right, and it's infuriating. I don't like that. I find it hard to run the high line a lot of the time. But in the lower powered cars, I actually really enjoy it. I think it's great fun. The higher power cars for me tend to be better on the shorter tracks. It's the long straights that really hurt me when we get to like the 410s and stuff, and we'll see that later. But I'll certainly struggle to drive those cars a little bit more than these. Just for the sake of making it interesting for you guys, I will quickly scroll through the different cameras so you can get a bit of an idea of what it looks like. That's the hood. This is the cockpit. I actually think the cockpit feels really, really nice, really good. I can drive very comfortably on the cockpit, even though I'm on a joypad, or what is it, gamepad? Joypad. The cockpit feels really natural, and this would probably be the view that I would normally use for this type of game. Although I really just don't ever do arcade races anymore. The nose camera, I mean, it doesn't do anything for me. It's very Gran Turismo, late 90s sort of spec. The I call it the tall chase because the camera sits higher up over the back of the car. But what I don't like, it feels really awkward for me, is that the camera, it's like fixed to the back of the car, which I don't really like. And then this particular chase camera, the car kind of rotates on screen, and it's more in line with what the camera did in World of Outlaws 2002. So this one feels a lot more natural for me. The only problem is it is quite zoomed in, and I feel that in the bigger cars, when we get to them, it's probably a little bit too close, but for the open wheel cars, it feels really quite good. So I think that'll do. That's Knoxville. We'll back it off here, button off, and we'll go and check out the next car and pick a different track. Escape here before we get into a crash. End practice. The goal time was a 14.9 there, and we did a 15.4. So to give you some idea, I have been in and set the AI strength to maximum. I've sent all of the assists to off, full sim spec in the options. No assists, maximum difficulty, everything like that. So we're going to be miles off the pace, without a doubt. But that's how I like to race these games. Alright, so let's move across and check out the street stocks next. Have a bit of a look at these. Once again, there's heaps of options here for drivers to pick from. Quickly flick through them while I'm talking, but these will be very different to the 305s. Much bigger, heavier cars. They sound awesome, but they don't have a heap of power by comparison. I mean, the 305s are not that powerful either. King Trader, that's cool. Well, that looks like an SSR car. It looks just a bit like our street stock that we've been running on iRacing for the last few years. But yeah, the cars are going to be very, very different. We'll just go with this one here because we're back to the start. But this will be very, very different. I think I'll go with Cedar Lake for these cars. We'll see how that goes. 3/8 mile. But the street stocks were one of my favourite cars on the last game that they released. So, you know, these are cars that I'm going to enjoy driving again here. We'll quickly look at the setups for you guys again so you can see what's what. And look, obviously it's a little bit different to a sprint car. We don't have any wing adjustments and things like that, but we've still got cambers, spring rates, we've got shock adjustments, tyre pressures, we've got the rear end ratios and stuff like that. We've got a bit of stagger adjustment and that sort of thing as well. So all the stuff you'd expect to see on a street stock. Go out there and hit the track. Our goal is a 13.9. Let's see if we can go anywhere near that. Quickly blaze through the different cameras. It's got the hood camera, The cockpit, which is one of my favorites for this particular car. I really like the cockpit camera. The front bumper. The chase, that I feel like the camera sits down lower onto the ground. And then the chase that we were using in the last car. So we'll stick with this for the minute. We'll see how it goes. Get ourselves up to speed. Straight away the car feels really drivable. I mean, I felt like these were the best cars as far as handling goes on the last Outlaws game that they'd released, but once again they just feel comfortable straight away. And I think when you consider that this isn't a sim, sims when you get in them are quite difficult to drive. People often don't realise just how difficult they are to drive, but because this is an arcade game you need to approach it like one, and you need the cars to be able to be easy enough to drive for people to be able to jump on the couch, turn it on and enjoy themselves and not be frustrated because the cars are too hard to drive. And you know, the street stocks here are perfect for that. Nice and easy to get around the track in, and I think they've done a great job of making them feel heavy as well. Like, they do feel heavy. Even on a gamepad I can feel that, so I think that's really, really good. So we're starting to get a bit of dust on the tear-off. We'll grab a tear-off. Oh! And then we'll quickly go through and cycle the cameras real quick. That hood camera, which I think looks really, really good. This is the one that I really, really like. Cockpit cam. Oh! It feels very natural, and it feels really immersive and very realistic, in my opinion. I think it's very much feels like you're in the cockpit of the car. And it does give you a lot more sense of speed as well, being in this particular camera, I think. And this would be the camera that I would probably use for this car by default, but in saying that, I am finding that that second chase camera feels very natural for me. Oh, wrong button. Sorry, wrong button. Wrong button. That was not the change view button, that was the reset to track button. There is a reset to track button, guys, and that was it. Let's just go ahead and adjust to the bumper cam. It was a really abrasive moment there for everybody, I'm sure. Grab ourselves a tear off. Oh, we've got a car on our outside. We've got a race on. We came for a practice session and a race broke out. This is that, like I said, this the lower down chase. Unlike the sprint car, it feels like it's less attached to the back of the car, but still doesn't quite feel right to me, whereas this one does. I would say though, like I talked about before, it's a bigger car. Probably feels like this camera is zoomed in a bit too much, but either way, that's the street stock, guys. Really, really fun car to drive. I quite like it. I really love the 1%ers as well when it comes to the graphics. If you notice when I tip it into the corner, you might be able to see. It's a bit hard now that there's so much dirt on it, but the door panel on the inside of the car is flapping around in the wind. Like a proper fiberglass panel would, you know. They're not particularly... The structural integrity of those sort of panels, they're very weak. So the wind would affect them in real life, and that's the 1% of stuff that I think makes these sort of games really, really nice when you get that stuff. And, you know, the dirt build up on the car looks really good as well. So I like that stuff. I think that's really, really neat. Really, really neat. But that'll do for the street stock. We'll escape just down here and head back out and check the next car and take that to a different track. Alright, we'll back out here and go back to the next one. We've got Pro Late models next. I don't think I'm going to actually do the Pro Late models because we're going to do the Super Late models later. So the Pro Late models will be very similar, just a lot less power. But I think we'll leave the Pro Lates for the minute because we're going to come back to the Super Lates anyway. But we'll move across here to the not the Super Dirt Car, sorry, the Dirt Car Summit Racing Equipment Modified Nationals, UMP Modifieds. I really love these cars. I think they're great. We'll have a quick look through at all of the different drivers again that you can pick from here. few familiar names in this group, but again, just a lot of variety, a lot of option to be able to choose from here for the different drivers, which I think is really, really nice. It definitely doesn't feel like there's only a handful of liveries or anything like that. And not to mention, of course, you can make your own, so we haven't got to that yet, but plenty of variety there, plenty of choice. Kenny Schrader. Actually, I believe when we get there, we'll also have Kenny Wallace. There's the high side tickler, Kyle Strickland. But there he is, Kenny Wallace. Everybody loves Kenny Wallace. But yeah, there's a heap of cars to pick from, as you can see, and we're back to the start now. We'll just go with this one here, the number 95. Doesn't really matter. And I think we might go to Charlotte for these cars. I feel like Charlotte would be a nice touch because we've got the World Finals at Charlotte. You know, that makes sense to me. So take these cars there for a bit of a look, see how they go. But big fan of these cars in general. I really like them. Quickly check the setups for you guys. Where we get a bit more variety here than the street stock is probably, like, the noticeable thing to me is the J-bar adjustments in the rear. A lot of the other stuff though is much the same as what we see on the other cars. Spend too long sitting in here looking at that. Let's go hit the track. I'm keen to do that. Here's our default chase camera. We've got the hood, the cockpit bumper cam, our, we call it chase 1 camera, chase 2, and we are going backwards. Don't want that. Let's get out there, hit the track. We're starting to get up there as well in the speed department. These cars are certainly fast. A lot faster than a street stock, that's for sure. And they do drive very different to the street stock. And it's a good opportunity for us as well, while I think of it, just to pay attention, again, like I was saying in the street stock, the 1% of graphics stuff. It's a much more obvious thing in this car. That left rear sail, even the right rear, the panels just flapping in the breeze, moving around with the pressure of the wind. I reckon that's really, really cool. I love that. And you also get a great look at, you know, under the back of the car with this camera as well. You got all the bar work and the shock, where the whole rear geometry of the cars works. So actually got half decent pace right here. Wonder, whoa, can we get, that car I thought was coming to the bottom. Run the bottom though and actually get down the inside. Oh, nice pass right there. Try and clear the 8 as well, and then we'll look at adjusting our camera. Come in a little bit higher, we'll grab a tear off. There we go, nicely diamond off the corner. So we've actually got good speed in this car. Straight off the bat. You can see there's the bonnet cam. Into the cockpit. I do really like the cockpit cameras. They feel really good. A little bit tricky to get your head around how sideways you need the car to be, and we've gone way too straight at the corner there, got all the way to the wall. Drove right up the track again there. We're a bit aggressive to the bottom there as well, so it takes a bit of figuring out. With a bumper cam. We're going to go to this chase because we have got a car up there on the high side. We don't want to run into them. Oh, couldn't quite clear. Let's go back to our preferred camera to get the job done right here. Grab a tear off as well. Oh, we blocked him. That was a bit rude. Look at that dirt build up on the panels now. It's really, really cool. There is also as well, I haven't talked about it at all, I don't think yet. If I have, I apologise, because when you're re-recording stuff, it's easy to forget what you've already talked about. But there is a HUD. You guys can't see it, but because I'm on triple screens here on a PC on Steam, the HUDs are way off to the right and left-hand side of my triples, 5760 by 1080 screen resolution, and because of that, they're not on screen for you guys to see. So apologies if you wanted to see what that was all about, but and apologies as also if I've said that twice now in this video. But that's the UMP Modifieds, guys. Really, really fun cars to drive. And again, they feel really like natural to drive, you know. controls are great, really like it. And I'm so far really pleased with how the cars have all gone. I think they have all handled really nicely. Go back out and have a look at whatever the next car is. And we were tasked with a 13.1. We did a 13.1, just slightly too low, but we almost matched the time we were required there. So we were way quicker in these cars than the others. But let's go back, confirm. We'll head back and check out the next car in the list and see what that's like, and we'll pick out a different track and go and have a look at that as well. Alright, let's go back and see what was next. We've got the 360 sprint cars, again like the Pro Late models. We've already done 305s and we are going to do 410s, so we're not going to worry about the 360 sprint cars at the minute. I will just quickly go in though and I'll show you the drivers in here while we're chatting, because there are going to be a few people that are interested in the different livery options. But yeah, I'm not convinced that we need to go in this video through and check out all the different versions of each of the cars, particularly if we're going to do the slowest and the fastest. We don't really need to check out the one in the middle right here, but quite a few different options here for driver choice again, which is really cool. We've got a bunch of platinum drivers. I'm not quite sure what the difference is between platinum and non-platinum. There's Nim Cross, so that's an iRacing one, but either way, heaps of choice. Again, Tyler Hudson as well, another iRacing movie. But yeah, there's no shortage of different paint schemes and stuff in here to check out, which I think is really cool. Reese Weiss with the Reese's Pieces livery, I like that. And then we're back to the start. We won't go in there and race those though at the minute, but at least you guys have seen the different options we've got. Next, we've got the ASCS 410 wingless sprint cars. We will have a look at these, and if it's anything like iRacing, they're going to be a handful to drive. Well aware of that. But, we'll go through quickly again and just take a look at the different options as far as the liveries go. There's quite a few in here as well. I don't know how popular the wingless sprint cars would be. I mean, on iRacing, they're typically not that popular, but I don't know. I guess it depends. A lot of people out there that love their wingless sprint car racing, and I will say I wish we had sprint cars like these race here in Australia. We don't have a big V8 version of any sprint cars really that race around here. Our wingless sprint cars run a V6 motor and they're not anywhere near as powerful or as cool as these ones. So that's the list of drivers. We're just going to grab the first one in the list and head out and check out a track. I'm thinking probably a smaller track. I actually think Fairbury even might be good for these cars. Let it go. The 1/4 mile track, it's a short track. Checked out too many of those just yet. Let's see what it's all about. We'll see how they go, and hopefully we can at least drive them, because if there's going to be a difficult car to drive, I talked about the high power cars being much more difficult in my opinion. A 410 wingless sprint car is going to be about as hard as they get. I will very quickly just show you this, but I mean it's basically going to be the same as the sprint car setup except with the wing adjustment stuff, so we're not going to spend a lot of time looking at that. You guys can pause the video if you want to check it out in any more detail. But let's go ahead and not do that. We don't want to leave, we want to go out on track. Here's our options for our cameras again. We've got that hood cam. I always go to call it a bonnet cam, which any American watching will have no idea what I'm talking about. Got the cockpit camera right here, bumper, that first chase, and the second chase, which is the one that we're going to use. How about the power? Holy moly! And for sure, I can feel, whoa, down the end of the straight, the car's trying to turn right, which, I mean, I'm just not convinced that they'd be like that. I don't know why the physics make it do it. Trying to steer clear of the walls, but we're going to get past here on the bottom. Oh! And try and race back? No, probably not. That car's very good on the bottom, that one that we're following. We might be doing it wrong. Maybe that's the line that we should be on. Well, we certainly couldn't hold the bottom there in 1 and 2. Oh, wow. There, that exact right there, what you just saw is me complaining. What I've been complaining about, where the car will just turn right. Might be something you can tune out with the setup a little bit, but it's something that really was a pet peeve of mine on the last game, and appears to be still sort of there for these cars. the more powerful cars anyway this time around. We're going to try and change the camera, but I suspect that we're probably going to find the wall very quickly when we do. But oh, we sort of got around all right there. We'll go to the cockpit. Feels alright on the cockpit camera, it's not too bad. Oh, we have a car on our inside there. Just killed me. Oh, almost got him back. Almost. Here's the other chase camera. I don't really like this one. I much prefer this one. But how good does it look though, guys? The game, it just looks unreal. I'm actually pretty happy with that. I think we've driven there a lot better than I thought we would in these cars, so I'll take that. We'll head back out and go and see what's next. Pick a different track again. We will pick a different track for every car if we can remember to not pick the same one twice. We were expected to do a 9.8, we did a 10.3, so half a second off. It's probably not bad. I'll take it. But yeah, we'll go back, we'll check out whatever the next car is, and we'll go from there, see what it's like. Alright, we'll go back out here to the next one. Micro sprints. This one's cool. Micro sprints. Quickly blaze through the drivers for you guys to check while we're talking again, but I don't recall racing the micro sprints on the last game. I think that they might have come. A lot of these cars I think came as DLC on the last game, and I never bought it, never played it. But the gold edition here this time, so we should get access to all the bonus stuff. But I don't remember racing micros at all on the previous game, and I've only really raced them once or twice on iRacing as well. So I really love micros. I reckon they're a really cool car. Like a really cool car. We've got similar cars here called Formula 500s in Australia, but I get them on the right track as we get back to the start of the list. If you get them on the right track, I actually think that they're very cool cars. And I know there's a couple of good options here. We have got the Chili Bowl, but I think we'll save that for when we get to the midgets because they make sense there. I think we'll go across to, I'm sure I saw it on here. Millbridge, it is there. So, quarter mile, Millbridge. Very renowned track for these type of cars, so we'll check it out. I reckon this would be the best option for us to have a look at these, see what they're all about. But yeah, very, 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 very funny cars. Very loud. I don't know how loud that was for you guys, but it really blew my ears out. If we go and have a look, fair lot of options here in the garage for these cars, but all the stuff you'd expect. We've got a tube height adjustment in these ones, which is interesting. We've got weight adjustment to the rear as well, so a few different things to what we've seen in the other cars, but for the most stuff it all looks like things you'd expect to see in a micro. We'll go back out, just hit the practice session. Here's our, that's just a cool looking screenshot right there. That just looks so good. These cars are awesome. I love the look of them. Oh, a splitter's coming down the straight. Alright, let's check out our cameras real quick before we get killed. We've got the hood cam, the cockpit cam. Oh my god, that's scary when they drive past like that. Bumper, the first chase, and then my preferred chase. Oh, I was trying to figure out why I couldn't go. I had my foot on my brake pedal, which has been mapped. Oh. They're fast little cars. They feel too fast, to be, if I'm honest, for this track. This feels extremely quick. I don't know if you guys agree that it looks too quick, but it feels fast. I have got my old man reflexes going on, but these things look really cool, eh? Oh, we haven't got the limiter there. Oh yeah, there we go. Now we're moving. Went for a massive slide job that I was never going to clear. I'll try and get past this guy and then we'll change the cameras. Alright, let's have a look. Got that hood cam. Oh, wow, we're going there way hard. A lot of limiter before we hit the wall. It is very disorientating going from one camera to another, I'm not gonna lie. This is the cool cam. Like, look at this. We're carrying so much throttle down into that corner. Alright, let's go. Nose cam. Oh my god. I'm getting dizzy very, very quickly on this camera. We'll go back to our first chase camera. And this is the one I prefer. I reckon I can hear Johnny Gibson calling over the radio. That's quick. Before we have a monumental accident, I think we'll call it right there. You gotta have your eyes on forwards. Goal time of 7.5, we did a 7.6, so we're right there. That was pretty good. Yeah, they're fast. Reflex racing right there. That was really good fun. I enjoyed that. Let's go back and we'll check out the next car, whatever it is, because I can't remember the order that they're going to come at. We might have big block modifieds coming up soon. I can't remember. Midgets maybe. Check that out and see how that goes next. Right, let's go back. And midgets are next. Midgets are next. We've only got a few to go here, guys. We're burning through these real quick, but there are so many cars. And we'll see here, we've got a whole heap. We've actually got change scheme. So, oh yeah, so this is Jade Avedesian, obviously, on screen. And we've got the purple Yahoo car or the black Mobile 1 car to pick from. So that's cool. There are some liveries here that clearly have got multiple schemes, which is nice. Let's just quickly go through the list of drivers. And midgets are so cool. Oh, we know we got the Chili Bowl, which is definitely what track we're going to go check out with these cars. But midgets on iRacing are one of those cars that are really, really fun to drive. And yeah, there's absolutely no shortage of options here for drivers to pick from. We've got a couple of options there for Cannon, gear wrench, inverted color livery. We've got Teamez. Lots of familiar names here, especially if you watch Midget Racing or the Chili Bowl. We've seen a lot of names there that recognise. Now up to the R's. We've still got a ways to go. Skip through them. Probably more drivers for this class than any others. We're back to the start now. We only got to T and then they jump back to the start. So we'll run in Jade's car. We'll go to the Chili Bowl, obviously, and have a look. And I will say, as fun as these cars are on iRacing in the sim, they are one of the hardest to drive, I would argue. Like particularly at somewhere like the Chili Bowl. Very difficult cars to drive at the Chili Bowl in the sim. So we'll see what they look like here. Quickly scoot over and change into the setup so you can see what they are. And again, you're getting the idea here, guys. I'm not going to spend too much time in the garage there. You can pause if you want to check it out in more depth, but heaps of things to choose from there. Johnny Gibson letting us know the hot laps are good to go. So we quickly flick through our different cameras. I just reckon this looks so cool. How good does that look? Let's go out on track here. Try and find a gap to get out on the racing surface. Oh wow, hang on to it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Look at the Nerf bar on like the inside of the car rattling around. I actually feel like I can move around in this car. Look at that. From the top, middle. Yeah, we got the middle there again. See if we can get to the bottom. Oh! We've got a car coming at us. Not a great time to do it, but let's change the cameras. Really don't like the hood cameras. Everything feels like it's going too fast. Oh, that's cool. Cockpit cam is very cool. Just touch the front wheels up on the berm there. That's a little bit too much. That's a lot too much. Oh, there's a car. I can't do that camera, you guys. That camera just ain't it. And this one feels really awkward to me as well. That's more like it. Oh! Too much! We've wheelied and crashed. It's probably a good spot to stop. Probably a good spot to stop right there. We were meant to do an 8.7, we did an 8.8. Good. Pretty good. We're right there on pace in that one as well. That's really cool. Alright. Let's leave. Confirm. We'll go back now and check the... So I think there's only 3 to go off memory. We've got the big blocks, the super late models, and then the sprint cars, the World of Outlaws. So let's check that out. Alright, apologies if there's a bit of a janky cut there at the end of each car, but I'm having to go and watch back each of the recordings from each section of this as I go because I've been having so much trouble with my recording software today. And I've changed a bunch of settings, guys. I hope it looks alright. If it has got a video up here on YouTube for you to watch, it means it's worked, but let's hope that the quality's still good. I've changed a bunch of stuff to try and get it working. Alright, big block modifieds. My favourite cars from R Factor, for those of you that know. Watched my channel for a long period of time. Big fan of the big block modifieds on R Factor. First car off the rank here, Peter Britton, the Australian. Very, very cool. We'll skip through some of these real quick, and we'll probably try and hit like a northeast track if we can, because I think that makes the most sense. That's a cool one. Mark Johnson. A lot of familiar names here in the driver list for those of you who follow this class in real life. Seeing a lot of names here that you'd recognise. Rago, Jimmy Phelps. So there's heaps of cool cars. Heaps of cool cars. And I reckon big block modifieds, the paint schemes on them always look top notch. Hard pressed to find a big block modified that doesn't look the part. Matt Williamson's 88. Driven that heaps of times in R Factor. Good number, 88. Alright, we're back to the start. We'll go to Peter Britton. Obviously, he's the first driver for all these. And we'll do that again here. Just so happens to be an Australian. So let's go and have a look. We've got a couple of options. We've got, I mean, Oswego's a good shout. Big blocks of the car to race at Oswego. I'm keen to go and check Weed Sport. It's an awkward sort of track. You can even see the track map on screen. Very weird shape. The exit turn 4 is tight. I feel like that will be a real challenge for these cars. I feel like that'll be a difficult... this will be a difficult track to drive in cars that will probably be difficult to drive. They're very powerful. And I talked about high-powered cars trying to turn right at the end of the straight. This is the only car that I can recall driving on iRacing that actually does that on a sim like it does here in the game. At the end of the straight, it will try and turn right. So I reckon this car will be a nightmare. We're about to find out. Let's have a quick look at the setup for you guys. And all the same sort of stuff again as we've seen elsewhere on the other cars. The J-bar adjustments back. Yeah, staggers and shock adjustments, all that stuff. So let's go have a quick look through our different camera options again. Always enjoy the cockpit camera in this car because you can see the front wheels. I reckon that's really cool. Trying to stop the car from rolling down into turn 1. Alright, let's go and do it. We'll wait for the cars to go past. We don't want to come out right into traffic. Oh! As I say that, I nearly killed ourselves right into traffic. If ever there was a big block track, this was it. You got to get the car really sideways into 1 because 1's really tight, and then it opens up out of 2. Big curve backstretch, and then down the main straight you've got just a dead straight. The exit of 4 is very tight. Try and get this move done down the inside if we can. Not this time. Try and go back up high and get a run down the main straight. Can we do it this time? It's a big move into 1. Leave the bottom open, but we got it done. Quickly change the cameras while we've got no cars right in front of us to distract them. Oh. And to be fair, it's not trying to turn right at the end of the straight at all. So I was just wrong. In fact, it feels really quite good. This camera just, my brain doesn't compute with that one. Our low down chase camera. It feels like we're dragging along the ground in this camera. Nice line through there that way. Back to our close chase. Wrong button. I wanted to tear off. There we go. Accidentally changed view. Still trying to get the controls figured out. That's not really a line at this track, the high line into 1. That's awesome. That is awesome fun. Big moment there on 1 and 2 to record it. Oh, I thought I was going to smoke the wall there. Let's back out of it before we do hit the wall. Really enjoyed that, you guys. That was really fun. Big blocks. Big thumbs up from me. We were 3/10 away from the goal time, which is sort of standard. We're just not getting that. We're not fast enough on the difficulty setting that we've got set here, where it is very high. Let's go back. Go check out the super late models next, because I think that was the next car, second last car to look at of the video. Oh, I can have it. And it is super late models. World of Outlaws late models. And we're going to see some names here that are pretty familiar as well. For any of them. We've got 3 different scheme options for the 16. That's cool. Look at that for a retro. I don't remember Tyler Bruning running that. I don't follow them as close as I'd like to, the late models, but skip through them real quick so you can see who's in here. Dennis Erb Jr. Nick Hoffman, Brent Larson, Chris Madden. I don't know if there's going to be an option for it at some point. It might be a DLC thing, something like that. But I feel like I'd really like to see a Scott Bloomquist car in here. I think that'd be a nice touch, but as far as I'm aware, there isn't one. There's probably a Bloomquist chassis in here, but or a car that's meant to be on a Bloomquist chassis, but no Scott Bloomquist car with livery on. As far as I can remember. There is a heap. I said that the Midgets probably had more cars than any other class. I'm probably wrong. It could be the late models. Working our way through here now. Towards the end, we're up to M. Over to Jimmy Owens. They just keep coming. Names that you know. So many different options for liveries and drivers. It's really, really impressive how many there are as we get to Mason Ziegler, and that's the end. We'll go back to the start. As always, we're running Kyle Bronson's car here, the first car to pick from, and we need to pick a track. I haven't really thought about this one. Let's see. Kern County, Vegas, Lima Land. A lot of options. We go to Lucas Oil. That could be a cool touch. Lucas Oil, let's do that. I feel like that'd be a good track to go and have a look at. A 3/8 mile. A fairly tricky track on iRacing, but I don't know what it'd be like here. Low banking. Should get these cars up on the bars with any luck and get them really honking. We'll see. We're going to do the thing where we check the garage for you guys, so if you want you can pause here and take a look at all the different settings, except for those that you can't see from behind my head. We're straight out on track. Have a quick look through the different cameras. That texture on the dirt there, it's nice. Alright, let's get out there. Maybe we can get out before the... No, can't get out before the cars catch us. These cars have got probably more attitude than any other. Oh yeah, that's what I was talking about on iRacing. You go over the top of the cushion and you're off. We're going to do it again right here. That's alright, gets us away from the cars so we can actually try and hit our marks. Oh, wrong button. I guess we'll do the different camera. How about that? Did it again. Getting confused with my buttons. There's the hood. Oh! All out of sorts there. We don't want to hit the tractor tyre. We know that's not going to be good. There we go. We're getting a bit of that car turning right under power in the straights business in this car, which I talked about earlier. It feels a lot better than it did in the last title. Oh, for me personally, but really struggling down there on the entry to. Guess let's turn. Turn 3, I think. Let's get back to our original chase cam and see if we can't get this car to go. It's too high. It's just turning right on me at the end of the straight. That's not what I want. I don't want it to turn right. I did it again in the start of the straight. Oh, you really saw it there. Snapped. Oh! We actually spun out right there. We're going to have to keep going for a minute because I feel like we look like an idiot at the minute. I want to try and figure it out a little bit better. But I think that the Pro Lane models are going to be a little bit easier to drive and probably more enjoyable to drive for me. So for the first time, I'm having to sort of roll out of the throttle and try and not be full throttle down the straights to keep the rear tyres doing what I want, and that does feel like we're a little bit better now that we're doing that. So you've got to pedal them a little bit. The bodywork moving around is really pronounced in these cars. I love that. Oh, too fast. Anyway, I feel like we got a bit better there, and you got a bit more of an idea of how you're supposed to drive them. A little bit in the way there. Let's escape. Go back and take a look. We've only got one more car to check out. We had to do a 12.5. We did a 13.1, so we're miles off the pace. But that's okay. I think I would much prefer, like I was saying, I think I'd much prefer the Pro Late models. I think they'll be a lot easier to handle. Probably a lot more fun. But let's go back and check out the sprint cars. Go back. 410 winged sprint cars. Go through the drivers. As always, going to be quite a few people that know most of these drivers, I would think. Obviously, the lineup is going to be a little bit... I feel like the lineup in sprint cars at the minute is just a little bit lackluster because we see the split with a lot of drivers racing in high limit, a lot of drivers racing in outlaws, and we don't get to see them all necessarily together anymore, which is a bit of a shame. For the time being, that's what we've got. Either way, we've still got quite a few drivers here running up to the C's at the minute, so let's get through these, show you everybody that's in here. But 410 sprint cars, the biggest thing in national dirt racing, and for the most amount of drivers quite possibly in this group. I keep saying that. It feels like I keep saying that. Maybe there's going to be more sprint car liveries than any other, but in here that look really nice. Bud Kading, very cool. Work our way through them for you guys. I'm a little bit concerned about how hard these are going to be to drive. My experience in the 410s is that they are very difficult. Time will tell. We'll have a quick look in a second. Starts Ryan Timms. Westbrook, lots of names that we know. There's a Z for Zin. So that's it. We're back to the start. We'll grab Bill Baylog 17B. I'm going to go to a track for a look. I'm going to go... Actually, I'm tempted to go to Kern. I reckon that would be a fun track. I know if I go to a big track, it's going to be a little bit harder for me to drive. I don't know if I should show you guys that or if I should stick to something that's a little easier. I'm keen to go to Kern. I reckon that would be it's a pretty narrow track. Why don't we go to Volusia? It's a bigger track. It'll give you guys a bit more of an idea of how hard these things are to drive. I think that the big tracks are where they're going to be at their worst. So we'll go to do that, give you guys an experience of where I'm probably going to struggle the most. And we'll see how that goes. But fingers crossed we don't look too stupid right here. We'll do the thing for you guys as always, where you can check the different settings. This is all stuff that we saw early on in the 305s anyway, so doubling up. No, we don't want to do that. Let's go out on track. We'll check out our cameras. Thank you very much, Johnny Gibson, letting everybody know that we're about to hit the track. Yeah. All the different camera positions. All right, let's get out there and do some laps. Such a unique sort of track, Volusia. It's a little bit like Weed Sport in that it's a very D-shaped sort of a track, but it's a lot bigger and faster than Weed Sport is. Oh. I'm going to concentrate here to try and make sure that I'm holding my line even. It's quite hard to put it where you want to put it on the track, but I'm sure with enough practice, we'll figure it out. Let's see if we can't change the camera. This one, the hood camera always feels so fast. This is what feels most natural to me because I spend all my time in the sim these days. Especially when I'm sitting here on triple screens. Oh, this camera screws with me so bad. Oh! Wow! David Grammel just blew our doors off. I thought we were doing alright because we're catching someone. Then that happened. What line is that? We don't want to be down there. So tell me guys, what do you think if you've made it this far through the video and you're still watching? What do you reckon? Does it look good? Do you think it looks good? Will you buy it? That's probably the real question. I will say this, it looks unreal. For me, handling wise, I mean, I still don't think that it's as good as the Outlaws 2002 game, but that's just I think that's definitely a nostalgia bias kicking in right there. I think this is an improvement for me based on the game that came out last for these guys. I think it was 2 years ago now. I think it's a big improvement. Cars feel pretty drivable, I think. Everything looks great. And overall I'm impressed by it. I'm keen to get your thoughts. You guys are watching along. Hopefully the recordings look alright. I apologise that I couldn't get this video out sooner for you guys to check out. But yeah, I'm keen to hear what you guys think in the comments below. I reckon that's a good spot to peel off right here. Escape. Head back to the menu, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. This video, if you did and you want to see more like it, if you want to watch a career mode, or you wanted to see more videos like quick races or checking out the different modes that we've got here to choose from in the main menu, you need to let me know. I know to make more videos with this, but I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed getting into more of an arcadey game again and having fun. Less stress than racing on the sim, and I think that's really cool. Love to do more on it, so let me know what you think. But that's it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you all enjoyed it. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Holbo88. Twitch.tv/Holbo88 if you want to check out the live streams. Discord channel as well. Links in the description below. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one.